Good day, guys. Thanks for visiting Richard's Corner. My name is Richard, and today I've got a very unique haul from the Winnipeg FreeCycle group here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Gigantic book haul. Now, if it's your first time visiting Richard's Corner, the idea of my channel is thrifty collecting, as I try to balance all this. So what I try to do is try to show you how you can shop and save the thrifty way to get your favorite toys, books, movies, video games, and more. So the Winnipeg FreeCycle group is one of the many places that I try to get items for my own collections, and I hope you guys enjoyed this very unique haul. I've never done a haul from the Winnipeg FreeCycle group. It's my first one. I've been part of the Winnipeg FreeCycle group for a while though. So what the Winnipeg FreeCycle group is exactly what it sounds like. Free cycling is like recycling, except it's a no strings attached transaction between someone who posts an item up for grabs and someone who replies first to say they are interested in that item. Now, in this case, this nice little lady downtown had a bunch of young adult fiction books. For the most part, I think there's one nonfiction book in this haul that she was just putting up for FreeCycle for someone to pick up, and it was just a gigantic bag of stuff. In fact, these are just the books I'm keeping. I'm also going to show you the books that I'm not. But yeah, for young adult fiction, I mean, like I'm an adult, but I mean, it's still good fiction for the most part. And there's some unique books in here that I really am looking forward to sharing with you guys. So so there are probably FreeCycle groups in your area, wherever you're viewing this from, whether you're in Canada or US, and it is a no strings attached transaction. And the only faux pas that could ever happen on a FreeCycle group is for you to be a reseller. So getting this absolutely free and then reselling it is a faux pas. You don't want to profit from it. The whole idea of a FreeCycle group is to sort of keep things out of the landfill and put items that you don't want into someone else's hands so that they can appreciate it and maybe pass it on to someone else as well. So I'm going to show you this awesome haul of books that I am keeping from the book haul, but I'll start off with, put it down here, with the books that I'm not keeping. I'm just going to balance this off. BB-8, you hold on to that. So the books that I'm not keeping are these ones here. Now you can tell that it was a teenage girl that was reading these. I'm not sure if you're going to see all of them. Here we go. So mostly teenage Chicken Soup for the Soul kind of books. There's a teenage journal here, and Chicken Soup for the Soul for the teenage soul. Another one, Teenage Soul. Teen Love on Friendship. Friendship or Flirt, I'm not sure about that one. The Real Deal, another Chicken Soup for the Soul. So although the Chicken Soup for the Soul stories are very encouraging, for myself as an adult, it probably either gives me some insight about teenage issues or encouragement that they might need, but it doesn't really apply to me personally, right? So I really just want to keep the ones that really apply to me here. Complete Idiot's Guide to Looking Great. That's awesome. The Way I See It by Kimberly McCormick. Apparently that's a little bit more funny. Stories for a Teen's Heart, Volume 2, and then Chocolate for a Teen's Spirit. So those are the ones that I'm not going to keep for myself. I'm either going to FreeCycle them again myself, or there might be some people that might want them here in our own apartment. We do have a teenage son that may enjoy them or may not. We'll see. There's also some friends on my Facebook that may enjoy them as well. So they will not go to waste, and they won't get necessarily donated, although donations wouldn't be a faux pas either, because I'm sure that the store that I would donate them to would probably appreciate the sales, even though it is being resold, to support those programs that I've said many times for especially smaller thrift stores, right? So anyway, on to the haul that I'm keeping. This one is called A Million Suns by Beth Revis. This is an interesting looking book. It's book 2 of the Across the Universe series. So looks like a kind of a sci-fi action kind of thing, which is really cool reading from a teenage daughter, which is awesome. Here's something called The Edge of Everything, and has this advanced uncorrected proof sticker on it, or at least a watermark on the cover. I've never seen those before, and I actually had to Google it, and I've got my tablet here. An advanced reading copy is basically a free copy of a new book given to a publisher to booksellers, given by a publisher to booksellers, librarians, journalists, celebrities, or others, or maybe as a school prize, before a book is actually printed for mass distribution. So this is actually like an uncorrected proof before the mass-produced copy is actually given out. It's like, oh, and there's actually quite a few of them here. So I'm kind of like, oh, these may or may not have been the final drafts of the books before they were published. So this is kind of cool. So The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles or Giles. That's another book I got here. No Good Deed. I read the back of this one. Ellie Hudson is an Olympic archer, and somehow she gets back into old England, literally in Nottingham. So she becomes like a modern day Robin Hood thrown back in time, which is an interesting idea. Her name, the author is Cara Connolly, who wrote that. No Good Deed. Scythe by Neil Schusterman, another advanced copy. I'm not sure. Thou shalt not kill is the is the tagline. A world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all of those things and even conquered death. Now Scythers are the only ones who can end life, and they're commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Sounds like an interesting idea. So very cool reading, I think, to look forward to. Scythe by Neil Schusterman. I've also got The Fire and Stars by Audrey Colhurst. Not sure anything about that one, but again, another uncorrected proof advanced copy. The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. That's another book I got. Got another book here, Makala, by Mirjam Pressler, and it's actually a story about... it's a fictional story about a Jewish family in Poland and Hungary during the Holocaust. So that's going to be quite a moving story, I think. The Continent, The Journey of a Lifetime becomes a fight for her life. Another cover, not final, so this is not for sale. Advanced copy, it's actually supposed to have been released January 3rd of 2017. Harlequin Teen is thrilled to offer you a ticket to the unpredictable and peerless land known as the Continent. So the cover is kind of interesting there. So this is by Kiera Drake. I've also got Everyone We've Been by Sarah Everett. You Can't Erase Someone from Your Heart. Another advanced copy there. Just a Girl Standing in Front of a Boy by Lucy Ann Holmes. Sounds like actually a line out of Notting Hill. Where Julia Roberts is talking to Hugh Grant and says, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her. I really love Notting Hill. That's an awesome movie. So this one, it happens to be a hilarious, romantic, and honest novel. I'm wondering whether or not that Notting Hill story is based or sort of based on this, so I'm not sure. But Lucy Ann Holmes is the author of Just a Girl Standing in Front of a Boy. Here's a book by Larry King, My Dad and Me, heartwarming collection of stories about fathers from a host of Larry's famous friends. And this really speaks to me as a dad, apparently, obviously because, I would just love to hear what celebrity dads have to say about being fathers and the things that they go through as they raise their family. This one without the cover, the slipcover, Shatter Me, by the author Tahira Mafi. No idea what this is going to be like, but it has some interesting, like when I was flipping through it, it has some interesting lines where like some of the text is actually crossed out. So it's almost like it's like journal format, so it's like first person. And yeah, even like the first, the cover here says, my touch is power, but my touch is lethal is crossed out. So it should be, I think, a first-person kind of story, which would be very interesting. So, Shatter Me again by Tahira Mafi. How are you guys doing? I'm almost done here. Shipbreaker, a novel by Paolo Bacigalupi. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that name. Now, some of these books are actually, you can see that they're withdrawn from the Winnipeg Public Library. So this was probably bought from their ongoing book sale when they're withdrawing books from their shelves and they're just putting them out on the cart for sale. You can actually buy books by the bag for $5 here in Winnipeg. So you can get a whole bunch of reading books for very cheap if you decide to purchase books from the library. So Shipbreaker by Paolo B. I'm just going to call him. The Past is Another Country. Actually, I got two of these. Volume 1 and 2. 12 stories by new Canadians. Canadian authors are well, I mean, I'm just a fan of wanting to support Canadian authors. Now, mind you, I didn't buy these books, but reading the work of Canadian authors kind of strikes a chord to me as sort of like trying to support Canadian content on TV and radio, stuff like that. It's cool to have some books by Canadian authors. So The Past is another country, 24 stories in total by Canadian authors. So I'm looking forward to that. This one doesn't have a slipcover. This is called Little Things Long Remembered. This is written by Susan Newman, and it's basically, it's a parenting book where it just sort of gives you some reminders to take a moment and connect with your children. So I can tell that I think it might have been the lady that owned this, put little check marks next to some of the text, and just to say, yes, I've done this with my child, I've done this with my child, and I thought that was pretty heartwarming. And it's got some funny illustrations and stuff like that, and just reading through it is just like, it really spoke to me. And when it's like, oh, you know, those are things that I like to do with my boys now, right? So it's kind of good to reinforce that, yes, I'm on a good path, or, oh, this is an idea I've never thought of. And it's just sort of like moments that you can share with your kids on a regular basis, and just sort of like give you something to help you connect with them in that moment, so that they remember that connection and they hold it in their heart as kids, right? So I think that's going to be a really good keeper for me. Spliced by John McGoran. Again, another advanced reader copy. Spliced, it's an interesting story. 16-year-old Jimmy wants to... knows that people change, but nothing could prepare her for what's going to happen to her best friend Dell, who's obsessed with becoming a chimera, a person who pays a back alley geneticist known as genies to splice animal genes into their own so that they actually get like mutated. So it's set in a story where, like, in a world where people do this like for fashion. You know, this is just the thing. However, the resulting physical changes have scared lawmakers into drafting legislation declaring chimeras as non-persons, and it's a terrifying status because it basically means you're going to be put to death on sight. So Jimmy is going to try to save Dell before she changes her body, and and apparently Dell goes missing somewhere in the story, and blah blah blah. So it's kind of an interesting story, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. So Spliced by John McGoran, really interesting concept for a book here. Freemasons' Daughter by Shelley Sakir, another uncorrected proof. Sounds like a period piece of some sort. Saying goodbye to Scotland is the hardest thing for Jenna to do, and then she meets Lord Pembroke. So yeah, I guess it's sort of a, you know, oh, I'm going to leave my home away, and sorry, my childhood home, and then she meets somebody that, you know, sort of not forces her, but sort of gives her an opportunity to spread her wings and experience life in a beyond the world that she's lived in all her life. So Freemasons' Daughter. Strange Alchemy by Gwenda Bond. This one actually looks like oh no, it's an uncorrected proof again, not for resale. So there's another one, Missing, Disappeared, Gone on a Road on Roanoke Island, The Legend of the Lost Colony. 114 colonists have vanished without a trace more than 400 years ago, and it still haunts the town. Should be interesting. And then the last one here is We Come Apart, The Only Safe Place Was Each Other. This is written by Sarah Crossan and Brian Conaghan. So looks like, and this particular book seems to have been really well read by the daughter. She's got all kinds of like little scribbles on there. And actually, when I go through all of these books, there's a bunch of them in there that have like little annotations and stuff like that. And she's basically writing and talking to the characters. It's like, well, that's a situation, you got to live with it, kind of thing. So I find that really amusing. And actually, it's an interesting way to read books, is like, because it is your book until you give it away, that you just sort of enjoy it in your own way. And it's like, oh, that's actually a really interesting way to enjoy it. So I've mentioned before in older videos that I'm not much of a reader, so why would I pick up all these books? Lately, I've been just trying to, I've been kind of re-inspired, and there's a couple channels, like there's one channel in particular, Bookish Paradise. I'm going to link her as a card above, but she's an awesome reader. Like she's an awesome young lady with really a passion for reading, and it's just really inspiring, you know. For a guy like me who normally just sort of worries about toys and movies and stuff like that, and usually prides himself on just reading snippets of things like in articles or magazines. you know, there's something to be something to be said about sort of taking in a book and letting it become a part of you and sort of getting engrossed in it like a movie, except it's just for your eyes and sorry, not for the whole senses, but just more of like, you know, something to see a picture in your head. And usually when it comes to reading, I'm just not really great at that. So I'm hoping that this you know, influx of books will inspire, like, you know, will be something for me to draw into and get you know, whisked away into whatever worlds that these books will offer. So I'm not sure what the chases are for my haul today, but I think that Splice is probably going to be one of the things I'm most looking forward to reading, and I think Shatter Me is going to be another one. So I think these two books are going to be the ones I start with. Stay tuned. I'm hoping that maybe if I do get through them fast enough, and I'm not promising that, but if I do get through them fast enough, then maybe I'll do a follow-up video and say, hey, this is what I thought of these books. So stay tuned. So I hope you guys enjoyed the haul. There's a lot to go through. Tell me if you've ever been part of a FreeCycle group. Leave a comment below. It's an awesome thing to do. I've found all kinds of things in the past, like kids' clothing, kids' toys, other toys that I've kept, art supplies, all kinds of things, all for free, and never with the intention for me to resell. It's really worked out for me and for the person giving it away. And yeah, I would really encourage it. Check it out. Winnipeg FreeCycle is for obviously my hometown here, but if you look at the Yahoo groups and look for your own Winnipeg FreeCycle, or sorry, your own local FreeCycle group, maybe you'll get lucky too and find some awesome things for absolutely free. How much more frugal can you get than that, right? So this is Richard from Richard's Corner signing off for now. I'm going to wish you happy hunting and happy collecting, and hope that all of your finds in the thrifty wild are equally awesome. If you haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe, and stay in touch with me so you know what is new and happening here on the channel, and also hit that little bell icon so you're instantly notified when something new is uploaded. Again, all of the love and support for Richard's Corner is so appreciated, and it helps continue to drive me forward here. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned for more. I've got much more to share with you, and I so appreciate you guys tuning in today. Again, it is Richard from Richard's Corner signing off for now. We will see you next time. Thanks again for visiting Richard's Corner, guys.